Okay, greetings. Welcome. All right, so this next topic we're going to work on is the nature of grounding. How do you ground your body? What makes a person grounded? What makes one person more grounded than another person? When there's some people that'll walk into a class and you touch them and they're just floaters. You know, they don't have any structure, and you go pop and they fly across the room. And you have other people walk in the room and they're a brick. They're not going anywhere. So like, yeah, okay, this is a puzzle you got to figure out. Why? Why does this happen? Okay, now developing grounding and what generates grounding in other people, they overlap it and they're not the same. If you want to make a student more grounded, it's different to detecting why a person is so grounded. So these are two slightly different topics that have an overlap. Let's look at the people who walk in the door who are grounded first. The mental, astral, and physical body, upper dantian, middle dantian, lower dantian, are centers of gravities for these three bodies. And these three bodies have a magnetic fluid, what we call a mental matrix, which connect the upper two dantians, and an astral matrix, connect the lower, the middle, and bottom. And these matrices have a magnetic fluid. The stronger the magnet, the more these three bodies have cohesion and pull together, and the stronger that person's balance and grounding is. So people with a strong mental astral matrix don't bounce. People with a soft, loose, or static in the mental and astral matrix bounce much more easily. People who have erraticness in their mental astral matrix, they fly very, very far. Okay, so this aspect of the mental astral matrix, the general public, that's why. One of my teachers referred to it as stubbornness, that there's a stubbornness inside the person's unconscious mind that doesn't allow them to be balanced, that they unconsciously neutralize. And that's one aspect to it, but that stubbornness is accompanied by a very, very strong astral matrix that locks the energies in together. And that's what makes them stubborn. That's the fuel of their stubbornness. All right, so that's an aspect of the balance and groundedness of people in general. Now, of course, that's not always the case. I had one fellow come into my teacher's class who had a car accident, had a metal plate put on his head, and I've never met anyone who floated and bounced so easily in my life. Just the slightest amount of gin, you'd take off 10 meters. I was like, whoa, okay, what's up here? And then he told me about the car accident, and it left a big hole in his mental astral matrix, where that metal plate was. So the energy was seeping through that and influencing him on a very, very profound level. So it was a very quick learning that when people have had accidents, traumas, there's a gap or a hole into their energy field. This hole in the energy field is a double-edged knife. It lets good stuff in and bad stuff in. So people who have these holes in the aura can be very, very psychic, but then stuff just floats through them, become very rhythmic as well. So it can be a problem. So there's many, many different factors in which what make people become highly grounded or float. But the strength of the mental astral matrix, this is generally the main cause. Mental astral matrix strength. Okay, so how do you become more grounded? Well, you can strengthen that mental astral matrix. You can balance the mental astral matrix. And how do we do that? Balance work. So one of my favorites is I go into the gym, into a power rack, and we have one of these at home. And you put a aerobics ball, 70 centimeter ball in the middle of the rack. You pull yourself up or lower yourself onto the aerobics ball, and then you just sort of keep your fingers gripped around the bar, and then spend the next few months learning how to stand on that ball, develop balance, while you're vital breathing, and you're still holding the bar because you don't have the risk of falling over. You'll find that it doesn't take too long before you can start building the balls, do your whole body pore breathing on the sorry about the music in the background. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but so you can build the ball while standing on the Swiss ball, and of course your balance and stabilizers are going crazy. You'll find that when you do the magnetic state, you're much more stable than if you open the electric state while you're standing on the bull. So this type of balance work while you're vital breathing makes your electromagnetic field super, super strong. Huge boost of grounding takes place. I found that after 1 year of doing this, not every day, but at least 3 to 5 times a week, that my grounding became incredible. People would push on me, and my mental astral matrix tightened up that much. There's no way anything could come through. What also became a problem with doing this is the way I raise my energy up and connect to my sensory intuitive field was being pulled in. I was closing the doors. So ironically, in my investigation into training grounding methods, I reduced my intuition. How ironic is that? So I quickly realized if I want to maintain a deep sense of energy and feeling for the spiritual world, as I ground myself, I have to open my vital energy out more inside that grounding. I've got to open the astral chi energy out more while I'm grounding, and then open the mental space out more while I'm grounding. By occupying the larger space, it began to restabilize those intuitive inputs so that I could maintain intuition while developing my grounding. So you'll notice that people who are very grounded are also usually not very intuitive. They don't feel energy, they're not very psychic, unless they keep everything open. The yi has to be open, the chi has to be open, the body has to be open. Once they figure that out, click, okay, now they can start developing their intuitive mental, astral and physical fields in conjunction with doing grounding exercises. Okay, so what are the benefits of grounding? One of the benefits early is that your emotions get grounded. So rather than emotional rhythm swinging backwards and forwards, the energy comes into the earth and you don't feel emotional. This is a huge benefit because your emotions get grounded out. You'll also find that if you're doing grounding exercises where you're standing next to a tree breathing, where your shoes are off and you're barefoot on the soil, providing the temperatures allow for that, then you're going to feel a lot more electromagnetically grounded between you and the tree when you're doing a tree qigong exercise. So in the warmer months, take your shoes off in the morning when you're doing your tree qigong exercise. This will produce a profound feeling of grounding, mentally, astrally, and physically. It dissolves the static out of your body. Doing the tree qigong exercise connects you to nature, and nature grounds you. So I've got a video on YouTube and Vimeo on the tree qigong. Practice that one. It's fantastic. You do this every morning for 1 month, and your intuitive field opens up that much. Everything is mind, and you start to recognize it very, very quickly. Okay, other aspects for grounding, the tree qigong, the standing on a fit ball, and having a person uproot you, just mechanically lift you up off the ground through a fascia stretch, and then feeling that, and then grounding your chi, getting the mental astral matrix to reground, relax the energy into the earth, and then soften back down into the earth and reground yourself. So someone uprooting you and you recovering. In the push hand sets, I teach about 60 odd push hand sets, and we go through every opening and closing point in the push hands, and I don't teach them much anymore. I used to. I'm thinking in the past a little bit. And each one of these opening and closing points in the push hand set, you uproot your partner, and your partner recovers as a transition through the push hand set. And what happens is you cover practically every type of place where a person can break your structure, and you open and close and recover. So this opening and closing at a place where you've lost balance, where someone's taken away your balance, this makes you immune to your balance being taken away at that point. So the next time they go to take your balance at that point, it's kind of like they've got to work harder and put more gin into it to catch you. And then you keep polishing up all those facets until there's no places in which a person can catch you. So you expose yourself to a situation of stress that unbalances you, and then you fix it. You patch that that imbalance that's been created. This, you can also work with this emotionally, through emotional stresses and mental stresses, make yourself mentally and astrally immune. For instance, if you're very, very prone to withdrawing if there's conflict, or if you see any form of aggression, you get and you pull in. You want to build a reaction of equanimity, or expanding out first before you move back into equanimity, being strong. And developing these particular subconscious reactions to different types of stress to find balance inside of it is important. Once you're immune to those stresses, well, obviously they're not going to affect you in the future. So there's huge value in developing your grounding physically, developing grounding astrally, and developing grounding mentally through adapting to various types of stress. Okay, we'll leave it there on the topic of grounding. Thank you for your attention. Enjoy the day.